Love, Death, and Robots. That is literally what the hit Netflix show Love, Death, and Robots is all about, obviously. But how do we go from three innocent-looking robots...
What do humans do with these things?
They bounce them.
That's it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
...to cats fighting the freaking devil? I mean, yeah, it's an anthology series, but still, each episode gets crazier and crazier, so let's get into it. But first, let's clear some stuff up. Every episode is a standalone, each produced by a range of different animation studios from all over the world. Pretty cool, huh? Meaning, you can watch this show in whatever order you want. Even Netflix ended up switching the episode order for the first and fourth seasons. But today, I'll be recapping each episode based on its original release date. So without further ado, let's get started. In the first episode, we open in the dystopian city of London, far in the future. A truck pulls up at an arena, where undefeated badass Sonnie and her crew get ready for their deathmatch. Using Sonnie's mind-controlled and highly engineered lizard beast, suddenly a rich asshole named Dicko, yeah, accurate, arrives, alongside his smoking hot mistress, Jennifer. Desperate as hell to rig the fight, he offers Sonnie hella money to lose, but Sonnie tells him to screw himself. Her teammates then reveal that Sonnie was seriously beaten up and assaulted by a gang a long time ago. After that, she's been mad unstoppable in the ring, sticking it to the assholes that hurt her. See, I told you, bad ass. So after a pretty close call during an insane fight, Sonnie and her crew enjoy their win and finally get some rest. But out of nowhere, Jennifer meets one-on-one with Sonnie. Ooh. There, Jennifer tries seducing Sonnie, wanting to know how the hell she keeps winning. But suddenly, Jennifer turns out to be a freaking monster hybrid, savagely stabbing Sonnie's skull. Yeah, she was working for Dicko the entire time. That bastard. But once Dicko sees Sonnie's dead body full of BioWare processors, he realizes that Sonnie's human form was just a decoy. Apparently, after being beaten up by the gang, Sonnie's real brain was actually transferred to her lizard beast. She essentially connects herself back and forth from lizard to human. Oh damn, no wonder she's gotta win every fight. She literally is the freaking lizard. Dicko and Jennifer are scared as hell now, and honestly, I'd be too, not gonna lie. Lizard Sonnie then stabs the hell out of freaking Jennifer. And don't worry, she's ready to kill that asshole Dicko next. In the next episode, we're in the middle of a post-apocalyptic city filled with hundreds of dead bodies. But here, we meet three curious robots on vacation. A tall, human-like one, K-Bot 4000, a small and loud one, KVRC, and a massive pyramid one called 1145G. Yep, kind of a mouthful. There, they tour everything humans left behind, seeing everything from basketball courts to diners. But they know nothing about the human race, literally. So they keep getting confused and scared about every little thing, even cats.
Uh-oh. If the noise ever stops, it's gonna explode on you?
Is it?
Yeah, this little guy ends up following them around for a while. And on their final tourist attraction, they arrive at an abandoned nuclear missile site. There, the robots wonder if inventions like these are what killed the humans off. But 1145G says it was actually humanity being a bunch of morons, polluting their own air and water supply. Yep. That sounds about right. But VRC suggests that it was also probably because humans eventually engineered cats to have opposable thumbs and be super intelligent. And remember that cat that's been following them around? Yeah, it turns out he's one of those super intelligent cats.
Gentlemen, I'm a cat. You guys better keep petting me, just to be sure. Forever.
And he speaks too? Holy sh**. The cat then proceeds to gather all of his feline friends. Yep. A robot vacation to remember. In the next episode, we open in an apartment where we meet a mysterious exotic dancer, simply putting on lipstick. But as she looks out the window, she witnesses a frickin' murder happening across the street. And with her luck, she accidentally makes eye contact with the bloody killer. Yeah, so now she has no other choice but to get the hell out of there. The killer immediately goes after the woman, and he's very determined to catch up to her. He even follows her to the club. There, the clueless MC accidentally lets him in, thinking he's just an average guest.
Hey, hello, young man. Are you a member?
No.
Oh, you're not. It's okay. Don't worry.
Unbelievable, dude. Thankfully, the dancer recognizes the killer in the middle of her show, so she runs away again. No time for putting on her clothes, though. This time, she snags her boss's gun and sneaks out. The killer then chases her across the city, all the way back to the apartment building. There, she finds an open apartment and locks herself inside. But apparently, the killer happens to have the frickin' key. Interesting. She then points the gun at him, but the killer tries to take it by force. Thankfully, though, she manages to get the gun and shoot his ass. Thank goodness. But unfortunately, as she looks out the window, she sees the man she just killed, looking straight at her. Holy shit, I guess we're stuck in a time loop, people. In the next episode, we're in the middle of the country. We then meet a simple farming couple, Rugged Hank and his loving wife, Beth Graves. But suddenly, they get an alert about a breach on their property. So now Hank's gotta put on an intense-looking mecha suit and check it out. Yeah, this is probably gonna be a lot crazier story than you thought it was gonna be. Hank then arrives at the breach, realizing it's a portal with hella aliens called DBs coming out of it. Jeez Louise. The good news is he takes care of that breach pretty damn quickly, but the bad news is that there are way more breaches creating a giant portal nearby. And thousands of DBs are coming out to destroy everything. So he's gotta call in some backup. Beth hits up all of the neighbors with mecha suits to join Hank. Unfortunately though, only a few show up. Artsy Jake and Crazy Mel. And while they handle the swarm of DBs, the rest of the neighbors and kids rush to Beth's safety bunker. But things get really out of hand. Only having a few mecha suits to shoot the DBs isn't enough. Jake even has to sacrifice himself to save the others. R.I.P. Jake, the GOAT. And to top it all off, a giant-ass DB breaks in.
Talk to me.
I'm in pursuit, hon. This thing's madder than your mother on our wedding day.
Thankfully, though, as it nears the bunker, Beth uses a massive turret gun helping Hank take the bastard out. By the morning, everyone is saved. Whew, that was a close one. The camera then zooms out, showing their entire planet. Apparently, there are domed colonies everywhere protected from the DBs. I guess this is bound to happen again. Oh well. In the next episode, we meet the strong mercenary Flynn and a wimpy archaeologist, Dr. Weehunt. They rush through an underground tunnel, trying to escape from whatever is making that scary-ass sound. Yeah, that one. But suddenly we cut to the past where Flynn, Weehunt, and Weehunt's also equally wimpy assistant, Simon, are researching a cave. They find a creepy ancient writing inside, which leads to the Dracula coming out, and literally ripping Simon in half. Well, I think this explains the scary sound from earlier. Flynn and Weehunt rush to find the rest of Flynn's team, Bald Mickey and bomb-obsessed Gary, and in the process they realize that Dracula is actually afraid of cats. Huh. No wonder random cats keep popping up on screen. Apparently Dracula's skin burns when he eats them, so locals keep dropping them out at the cave.
Well, he's not the first man who got in trouble for eating a little
They eventually make it back to Mickey and Gary, but lo and behold, they are now trapped. Dracula's right outside, but with the help of their guns, a secret passage, and Gary's C4, they manage to make it pretty far. But unfortunately, the group eventually runs into an even bigger swarm of vampires. Oh, only God knows if they'll make it out alive. Damn these cliffhangers. In the next episode, we are told the story of how frickin' yogurt, yes, yogurt, took over the world. Crazy, I know, but apparently, years ago, a group of scientists started an experiment by simply mutating yogurt. But after one of them took an innocent yogurt cup home, all hell broke loose. The next day, the yogurt became sentient, demanding control of the state of Ohio in exchange for the solution to the US economic crisis. Damn. But after the humans failed to stick to the yogurt's financial plan, the world started falling apart. The only place that was left intact was, drumroll please, Ohio. So, humans gave up and let yogurt take over the entire friggin' world, and now a decade later, everyone's living in peace, thanks to the all-powerful yogurt. But recently, yogurt started a space program and began launching itself into space. They're off to spread their knowledge, leaving us dumb humans behind. Yikes. In the next episode, we open in a spaceship called Blue Goose, ready to enter Surge Point Gate and start its journey at light speed. But this trip's gonna take a while, so the fearless leader Tom and his crew hop inside their surge tanks and fall into a deep, deep sleep. However, Tom surprisingly wakes up before they arrive. Apparently there's been an error and they're really off course. To help them out, another ship joins them, led by his ex-lover, Greta. Greta explains that they've accidentally arrived at the Sumlaki station in the Shudar sector. Yep, way off course. But another awake crew member, Susie, is extremely confused about this mistake. But before she can say much, she immediately faints. She's too weak to move, so Greta suggests putting her back in the surge tank until she recovers. Later, while engineers check out his ship, Tom settles at the station, where he and Greta restart their affair. But he's still confused about the whole thing, so Greta tells him the truth. The Blue Goose actually arrived way further than the Shudder sector, and because of constant routing errors, she's stuck there too. To top it off, because they traveled at light speed, thousands of years have already passed on Earth, meaning the world they knew is gone. Damn. They later try waking up and telling Susie, but she immediately freaks out, saying Greta is not who she says she is.
Look at her, Tom. Look at her!
And after attacking and cutting Greta, they put Susie back in the tank. Well, now Tom is seriously confused. Back at Greta's cabin, Tom confronts Greta about what Susie said, noticing Greta's cuts have already healed. Greta then finally tells and shows him the actual truth. Apparently, he's trapped inside a simulation. Matrix much? His real body is asleep and dying inside a horrifying alien nest, and when he awakens, he's freaking terrified. Yeah, he really doesn't handle this well, so alien Greta puts him straight back in the simulation. Forever. Yikes. Neo could never. In the next episode, we're in 20th century China. We meet a father-son duo, Renshu and Liang. They're tasked to hunt down a fox-like female spirit known as a hulijing, known to lure men to their deaths. Sheesh. But Liang doesn't have the guts to kill anything.
Father, I'm sorry.
The hunt is not over, Liang.
He later encounters a young hulijing named Yen, but after witnessing Renshu kill Yen's mother, Liang promises to keep Yen safe. And as the years pass, Liang and Yan become pretty good friends. But one day he decides to move to Hong Kong, escaping the modernization of China. But with him gone, Yen is all alone. Later in Hong Kong, Liang slowly becomes a pretty damn good engineer. But one day he finds Yen in the middle of the city. Apparently her magic, because of the world's modernization, is completely gone. Now she can't even transform into her spirit form. Damn. So to survive, Yan's job is to seduce men into giving her free shit. I mean, I don't blame her. After even more time passes, Liang's engineering talents reach freaking god tier. Later, Yan also returns, but this time she's begging for help. Apparently, an asshole governor tricked her and converted her into a frickin' machine, making her his slave. Ugh. But thankfully, she killed his ass. Now she's out for even more revenge. She wants Liang to build her another mechanical body, but this time she wants it to transform into a version of the hulijing. That way she can seduce men, like the asshole governor, and kill them. Liang agrees and sets her free in Hong Kong. In the next episode, we open up on a tired city inspector set out to kick out old Dave Deverchek from his literal dump of a home. And when I say dump, I mean dump. But to buy himself time, Deverchek tells the city inspector a story. Apparently one night, his buddy Pearly came over to visit, but when Pearly went out to take a piss, he discovered a giant living garbage monster. And that thing ended up eating poor Pearly. Holy sh*. But suddenly, Deverchek realized that the garbage monster actually lives off the dump. And everything it eats, including Pearly, becomes a part of it. Oh, jeez. So instead of killing it, old Deverchek kept it as a living, loving pet, naming it Otto. The inspector refuses to believe this crazy old man.
If you'll just make a big X on those papers, I can finally get out of this.
So naturally, Otto ends up eating him. Oh well, I guess Deverchek gets to keep his dump. In the next episode, we open up on a group of US Marines in Afghanistan, but we focus on two men, Lieutenant Decker and Sergeant Sobieski. During an attack, Decker's eyes turn yellow and pinpoint the enemy insanely quick. Turns out he and Sobieski are a couple of werewolves, new weapons for the military. But despite them being super talented soldiers, everyone looks down on them.
Come on. Smells like dog in here.
Classic discrimination. Later, during an individual mission, Sobieski's watchtower falls under attack, so Decker goes out to find him, but he's too late, and judging by the damage, the Taliban is also using werewolves. So now Decker wants revenge. The next day, Decker finds the werewolves responsible, but he keeps it a secret. Later that night, he confronts them one-on-one, leading to a bloody fight. The next morning, Decker arrives at the Marines' camp, having finally avenged Sobieski, but of course, the military still treats him like an animal. It's not like he frickin' risked his life or anything. Like, geez. So he takes Sobieski's body and deserts the Marines, and after burying his friend out in the wild, Decker is finally free to roam the desert. In the next episode, we open up on Alexandria Stevens, a pretty damn resourceful astronaut. Her job is to fix an Earth-orbiting satellite. Yeah, no big deal. But right in the middle of her spacewalk, a rogue floating screw suddenly hits her, rips through her oxygen tank, and pushes her away from the station. Yeah, she's screwed. She alerts ground control, but there's no way help is arriving in time. She only has 14 minutes left before she frickin' dies, but Stevens is not dying today. So she seals her suit with her watch strap, rips off her sleeve, and throws it, pushing her back to her station. And you think she'd reach at least a handle, but psych. She misses, and because of the mad temperatures in space, her arm is now completely frozen, and she's even more screwed. But hey, she doesn't need that arm anymore. So of course, she rips her arm off and throws it, and it pushes her back again. And this time she makes it, finally. But she's definitely going back to Earth after this. Yeah, she's really gonna need to get that checked out. In the next episode, two salesmen, an old man and a younger one, get stranded in the middle of the desert. While the young one gets more and more frustrated, the old man starts thinking about what the desert used to be. Apparently, it might have been filled with water millions of years ago. So he wonders if ghosts of sea creatures could wander the desert. Interesting. And funny enough, at night, the old man wakes up to find the ghosts of all kinds of sea creatures swimming in the air. That's actually pretty sick. He wakes up the young one, who immediately becomes mesmerized by them. But he gets a little too mesmerized. He wants to join him, so he takes off his clothes and becomes a ghost himself.
Don't be crazy!
I want to swim!
But as he swims through the air, the old man warns him about a shark coming up behind him. The young man is then instantly devoured by the shark, but as the sun rises, all the fish, including the young man, disappear. In the next episode, a rookie pilot, Lieutenant Colby Cutter, is forced to fly the unluckiest ship, number 13, known for its many failed missions. Even though Cutter doesn't care for that crap, her chief, warrant officer Jacko, explains every ship has a personality, especially 13. And after taking a liking to Cutter, the ship slowly becomes more reliable, succeeding on every mission. People even started calling it Lucky Number 13. After some time, though, the military offers her a brand new ship. But after going through so much together,
I do appreciate that, sir, but she's my bucket of bolts.
Cutter and 13 are now bonded for life. During one of her missions, things get out of hand, the ship crashes, Cutter and her men are surrounded. She has no other choice but to leave 13 and self-destruct the ship. Damn. But after escaping and taking over, she realizes that 13 doesn't explode right away. The ship waits for the perfect moment, taking out the enemy all at once. It's like the plane always had a mind of its own. In the next episode, we open on a very futuristic world where journalist Claire Markham narrates her encounter with the famous yet mysterious Zima Blue. No one really knows much about him except for the fact that he paints big-ass murals, always including an ultra-specific color of blue. Some of his murals even extend all the way to space. Artists, am I right? Claire also explains the reason behind Zima Blue's metallic body. Rumor has it that he wanted to transcend his human state. He went as far as traveling to a different planet to surgically enhance his body. Damn, that's commitment right there. During her interview with Zima, he shows off his next and final work of art, an old swimming pool. Yeah, pretty anticlimactic if you ask me. But he proceeds to explain that a long time ago, a young inventor wanted to make a robot to clean her swimming pool, but with time, she and her family gave it updates, transforming it into something resembling a man, aka Zima Blue. That's right, Zima Blue has been a machine this entire time. And remember that blue he always paints? Yeah, it's the color of the swimming pool he used to clean. Crazy, huh?
But you're a man, not a machine that thinks it's a man.
Sometimes it's difficult even for me to understand what I've become.
Apparently, after years of searching for the meaning of his life, he eventually wants to go back to his roots. Damn, that is deep. And on the night of the big artwork reveal, Zima finishes his career by jumping in the pool and, piece by piece, transforming back to his original robot self. He's finally back home. In the next episode, we follow a few cyborgs, made up of the leader Hawk, a feisty badass named Kali, strongman Sui, and a little guy named Rookie. And of course, the brains of the operation, Bob. But he stays on the sidelines. Their mission is to get a microchip from a heavily guarded convoy, all before they reach the end of the tunnel. That's pretty easy peasy, right? But after a rat on the road messes up their plans, it hits the fan fast. They're forced early into a suicide mission where they're seriously outnumbered.
Hey, that was my friend you just dismantled, you giant walking
Unfortunately, Hawk and Kali are killed off first, leaving Sui and poor Rookie to reach the microchip. But Sui dies quickly soon after. With his last bit of strength, though, he triggers a final explosion, allowing Rookie to finally get the microchip. But now Rookie's all alone and seriously devastated from losing all of his friends. Suddenly, though, Bob shows up, assuring him it's going to be fine. Apparently, Bob backed up everybody's brain onto hard drives. They'll be up and running soon enough. Finally, a happy ending. In the next episode, we open on a simple couple moving into their new apartment. The only thing left behind by the previous owner is an old-ass fridge. But after finding a small mammoth inside of a piece of ice, they discover an entire world living inside the fridge. Narnia who? But apparently, time passes hella quickly in this world.
What if we're their gods?
Look at these two douchebags staring at us all day.
Yep, so it doesn't take long for civilization to begin, technology to advance, and wars to start. I mean, a freaking nuclear bomb goes off inside this fridge. And after surviving that, society continues to grow and reach its peak until it forms a giant ball of energy. Ooh, fancy. Suddenly, though, it all disappears. Well, show's over. But even after unplugging the fridge, the next day we see that civilization is about to restart. What the hell is this fridge made of? In the next episode, we learn about the service of Multiversity, which apparently is an app that lets you research and change history, running different simulations for you, such as the early death of Hitler. Yay! We see different ridiculous versions of his death before World War II, everything from a simple brawl to a frickin' meteor strike. And yes, I guess all of those have consequences, including time travel triggering a world-ending paradox, but hey, at least in all versions of history, this monster dies. Score! In the next episode, we open in the forest of Siberia, Russia. Lieutenant Zakharov and his soldiers see the aftermath of a village attack, and I think it's safe to say no human could have done this. Yeah, brutal. So now they've got to go after literal monsters, and since their troops are spread pretty damn thin, they're on their own. Yikes. That night, the soldiers encounter the demonic-looking monsters for the first time, and again, brutal. I mean, hasn't the show been gory enough yet? Well, here you go. After the battle, Ochen, their scout, finds a dead body alongside his journal. Inside the journal, they learn that the dead man, aka Major Grecian, was a part of the secret police and an occultist, someone who studies magic and demons, you know. And that man was tasked with summoning monsters by the Soviets. Oh, damn. Sergei, Sakharov's friend, suggests telling their superiors about the journal. That way, they can work together to send the monsters right back to hell. But Sakharov counters, saying the Soviets would just end up killing Sakharov and his men for spilling the beans. So, unfortunately, it's best to move on. The next day, the soldiers end up finding a huge monster's nest, so they draw the monsters out and are ready to kick their ass. But the number of monsters turns out to be a lot more than expected. Yep, they're screwed all right. Since it's clear they're not going to win, though, Sakharov sends out his son, Malenchenko, for backup, giving out their coordinates. And after an intense bloody battle, the soldiers are torn into shreds. But later, more soldiers finally arrive, landing an airstrike directly on the monsters. Sakharov and his men died with honor, completing their mission. Rest in peace. To kick off Volume 2, we open on a futuristic and sweet-ass retirement community, and these old people are living the dream. They got robots doing absolutely everything for them, even picking up their shit. Literally. We then focus on an energetic old woman named Jeanette, who leads a pretty quiet life with her freakishly tiny dog. But things take a dark turn as her frickin' vacuum cleaner becomes hostile. Yep, you heard that right. So she has no other choice but to call good old tech support. With her luck, though,
you've asked to speak to a human representative. Current wait time is 6 hours and 14 minutes.
She gets stuck with the stupid automated customer service, and it only gives her useless solutions like turning it off and on again. Why am I not surprised? But after trying to shut it down, she accidentally activates the vacuum's purge mode. Holy sh! It's the rise of the machines, people! And the automated customer service is zero help. It just keeps insisting that Jeanette should sacrifice her dog and save herself. Holy damn, but Jeanette's not about to kill her dog for this crap. So while hiding in the bathroom, Jeanette awaits the evil vacuum cleaner. And as it enters, she finds a way to throw a towel at it, temporarily blinding it, and grapples it until she reaches the power button. Whew, crisis averted. Just kidding. She accidentally triggers the vacuum's attack mode, connecting to the entire house and locking all the doors, meaning she's royally screwed. Jeanette then gets away and manages to hide inside a cabinet, but while trying to sneak out, the dumb automated message gives her away her location. Now she's really screwed. Thankfully, though, her neighbor, Old Man Bill, sees everything from the window, and he's ready to shoot this evil vacuum with his shotgun. But the dumbass takes a little too long and gets electrocuted by the vacuum cleaner. What a hero. With the vacuum distracted, though, Jeanette manages to take the shotgun and kill the evil vacuum cleaner once and for all. Finally. But apparently this only makes it much worse. According to the automated customer service, the vacuum's death triggered an emergency protocol for all machines. They are now tasked to hunt Jeanette for life. Yep, she's officially a runaway criminal. But at least she has her dog and old man Bill by her side. Screw automated customer service. In the next episode, we open on a mysterious planet where everyone has been modded or altered to have insane superhuman abilities. And the only normal kid is lonely Earth kid Sedgwick, aka Sedge. This makes him the only loser on the entire planet, earning him the nickname Extro, even though his younger brother, Fletcher, is modded, making him their father's pride and joy. Figures. All Sedge dreams of is one day returning to Earth. Life for him really sucks here. That night, Sedge accompanies Fletcher to meet up with his insane modded friends, including badass hottie Logan, and their activity of choice is doing hella dangerous stunts. One of which is racing against the massive animals known as frost whales. They essentially have to stand on the ice, wait for the whale's vibrations, and race back to solid ground. And these monsters can break the ice in 7 seconds or less, so they gotta be on super high alert. But when Logan and the others start passing around a freaking peace pipe, Sedge gets a little too high, distracting him from the game. Thankfully though, Fletcher quickly snaps him out of it, and with the vibrations starting, it's time for them to run for their lives. But the ice breaks faster than expected, and it ends up crushing Fletcher's foot. Yikes, he's officially out of commission. So now Sedge has to save his little brother. He carries Fletcher on his shoulders, rushing back to the starting line, and out of nowhere, the frost whale manages to burst out, directly under their feet, shooting them up in the air. Luckily, though, they land safely back on the ice. Jeez, that was a close one. And as they all head back home, Sedge realizes that Fletcher's foot was never actually hurt in the first place. I guess he just wanted to see what Sedge was really made of. And with him now being officially part of the friend group, it looks like Sedge is finally starting to like this planet. In the next episode, we open with an incredibly run-down home where two intense-looking detectives, Briggs and Pentel, take over a crime scene. There, we see a worried mother, Maria, begging for the detectives to not hurt her kids. Strange choice of words there, ma'am. And as more officers take her away, Briggs is tasked to shoot the kids on the spot. Jeez Louise. Apparently we're in a world where overpopulation is a big problem, forcing law enforcement to take care of things, if you know what I mean. And in a world without kids, adults can now do whatever the hell they want. People have opted into living forever using the infamous drug known as the Reju treatment. But despite living in this ideal society, Briggs still seems hella depressed. He later meets up with his girlfriend Alice, a smoking hot and super talented singer who couldn't give two shits about kids. And after the biggest performance of her career, she's gifted a token of appreciation, a stuffed dinosaur. This triggers Briggs as it reminds him of the kids he just frickin' murdered. Damn, talk about trauma. The next day, Briggs finds the toy store where these children's toys are now considered collector's items. You know, since no one is supposed to have kids anymore. Then he runs into a young mother, trying to hide from Briggs, clearly knowing that he's a detective. But he ends up following her anyway, making it back to her isolated house. Briggs then sneaks inside to find the young mother and her infant daughter, Melanie. And now the mother is frightened as all hell, but Briggs means no harm. He's settled his gun on the table. He just wants to know what the big deal is about having kids. She explains that living forever pretty much sucks. Having kids has given her life's purpose again.
I've seen too much. She makes everything new.
Deep. Briggs suddenly lets down his guard, taking in the mother's words. So the young mother tries to snatch the gun and attack him. Obviously, Briggs fights back, but he can't bear killing either of them, so he just bolts right out of there. As he steps out of the house, though, his partner Pentel catches him red-handed. After hearing Melanie crying inside the house, Pentel's ready to kill, but Briggs is not ready to let this happen, leading to a final gunfight between him and Pentel. And he instantly kills her, but he also gets a pretty gnarly gun wound. And in his final moments, Briggs looks up at the sky, glad that at least he was able to save one kid. Damn, this episode kinda got to me. In the next episode, we're out on yet another planet. And the days here are hot as hell. I mean, we are in the frickin' desert. We then meet Snow, a famously wanted man with a huge bounty on his balls. Literally. And at a bar, he runs into some bounty hunters, ready to take him in. But Snow isn't gonna go down that easily, even after getting his arm blown off. Damn, this guy's intense. And thanks to a lonely bystander named Herald shooting up the bounty hunters, he's safe to leave the bar. Unfortunately, though, this alerts yet another group of bounty hunters. Looks like it's an endless cycle. Later, Herald follows Snow into the middle of the desert, where he accepts her company, at least for the night. There, Herald sees his messed up arm starting to regenerate. Interesting. So after the sun goes down, they start moving again. To pass the time, they start talking about bounty hunters and the fact that they're actually after his testicles. Well, they're apparently more after his sperm cells, since Snow's regenerative powers have made him immortal. Everyone's after his DNA, including Herald. But as part of the Earth's central intelligence, she wants Snow to join her peacefully, hoping to make all humans on Earth immortal. While he thinks about her request, they arrive at a secluded refuge, aka his pretty sweet bachelor pad. There, Herald finds and puts on an old dress. Turns out it belonged to his dead wife, and apparently poor Snow never recovered. Herald then comforts him, and let's just say they get pretty acquainted with each other. Oh, wink wink. The next day, Herald wakes up to an alarm going off. Apparently the bounty hunters, led by the dangerous Boris, are in the area, and Snow quickly manages to take them out, losing practically all his limbs in the process. And after shooting the last bounty hunter, Herald saves Snow once again. But psych, Boris pops up out of nowhere and shoots Herald, ready to take Snow with him. Suddenly, though, Herald awakens and takes out Boris, revealing that she's half robot. I did not see that coming. Back at his place, Snow recovers from the fight. Herald explains that she suffered a terrible accident leading to her robot body. They empathize with each other as they've both been alone for a very long time. Aw, love is in the air. In the next episode, we open on Four-Eyed Laird, traveling on an express train. And when the train suddenly stops, Laird steps outside to see what's going on. He then runs into the Railman, ordering him to get back inside, or at least stay close by. He warns Laird that he'll only call for him once, so he's gotta be alert. That's a little creepy, man. Right off the bat, though, Laird sees glowing lights coming from within the tall grass. So, despite the warning, dumbass Laird leaves to check it out. As he wanders under the moonlight, he hears the Railman's call, but Laird gets lost. Classic horror trope. And do you remember the glowing lights? Yeah, turns out those were faceless monsters with hella sharp teeth coming out of the freaking ground.
Oh my god.
And after a crazy chase, Laird makes it back to the train tracks, but with the train already taking off. He's screwed. Suddenly, the Railman steps in, scaring away the monsters with fire. The duo then miraculously make it back on the moving train, escaping this hellhole. The Railman explains that for some mysterious reason, the train always stops in that exact location. God knows what these creatures are, though. The Railman's theory is they're regular humans who have gotten lost in the fields, and there are hundreds of them. I'm sure Laird's done letting curiosity get the best of him. In the next quick episode, it's Christmas Eve, and two siblings, a little boy and his older sister, get excited when they hear Santa sneaking around downstairs. Score! They sneak down to hopefully catch a glimpse of him, but to their freaking horror, the magical creature known as Santa Claus is actually a terrifying piece of nightmare fuel. Jeez. The creature then spots them hiding behind the couch and slowly creeps up to them. It takes a pretty good look at them, and after declaring them as good kids, he practically spits out their gifts. Ugh, gross. But hey, at least they got the presents they wanted. While back in their beds, though, the older sister can't help but wonder what would have happened if it considered them quote-unquote bad kids. Ooh. Let's try to not think about it too much. In this next episode, kick-ass space pilot Terrence, who's definitely seen better days, crashes onto a deserted moon after an attack, and the man is bleeding out. He's pretty close to death, so he needs a place to recoup, fast. Luckily, he finds a life hutch to keep him safe. Unfortunately, though, there's a freaking malfunction with the maintenance bot, and it immediately starts attacking him, hurting him even more. Yikes. He then realizes that the bot only attacks things that move, so he's got to stay completely still. He even has to endure the robot accidentally crushing his hand. Golly! After a while, Terrence starts having flashbacks about his failed mission. His life is definitely flashing before his eyes. But suddenly he remembers that he has a flashlight in his pocket. Score! And with the robot following the light, Terrence tricks it into attacking itself. Genius! So, after it becomes pretty weak, Terrence finally gets his revenge and takes the bastard out. And with the robot gone, Terrence can finally treat his wounds and call for help. Boy, howdy, that was a close one. To wrap up this volume, the next episode follows a curious scientist named Steven who sets out to investigate a mysterious giant's corpse laying on the shore. Weird, huh? After taking a good look at it, Steven becomes fascinated, and he's not the only one. Hundreds of people come and go, almost like a tourist attraction. But as time passes, people slowly stop caring about it. Some even chop its limbs off for trophies. Eesh, Not Steven, though. He examines it at every stage, even as it decomposes. More time goes by, and Steven starts spotting bits of the giant everywhere. People who took his body parts are either displaying them or simply storing them away. Yep, even the giant's schlong is used as a circus attraction. Well, there's a sentence I never thought I'd say. Steven then ponders the life of the giant, and what it meant. He then realizes that every person will go through a similar journey at some point in their lives. They will at first be cared for and remembered, but after a while they will slowly be forgotten, much like the giant. Damn, this episode was deep. Kicking off the next volume, we're back with our favorite robot trio, KVRC, KBot 4000, and last but not least, 1145G. And this time, they're learning about the different ways humans tried to escape the apocalypse. Yay! Everything from rural country hideouts with crazy-looking booby traps and guns, to the isolated bunkers made by rich people. And despite each group going above and beyond to survive, humans still manage to die from overhunting and starvation. Yeah, pretty anticlimactic. In a fancy ocean hideout, though, the robots spot a very rude AI hologram named Elena.
I could, but I won't. Catch your own fish, you disgusting meatbag.
Apparently, bots like Elena were forced to serve humans day in and day out. VRC realizes that these very bunkers might have led to the robot uprising, also causing the apocalypse. I mean, I'd also rebel if I had to put up with rude people all the time. Who wouldn't? After the ocean hideout, the robot trio eventually finds a bunker made for world leaders. And again, small amounts of food were a big problem, which made them resort to cannibalism. Damn, now I'm scared for the apocalypse. They also visit a refuge made by the top 0.01% of rich people, aka the richest of the rich. And if you thought the ocean hideout was nice, these space shuttles blow the hideouts right out of the water. Apparently the top 0.01% didn't give a shit about saving or helping the people on Earth. So they had chose to build a colony on Mars instead. Yeah, I'm not surprised. As the robots wonder who made it to Mars, we see absolutely zero humans up there. Just some super intelligent cats. Again, not surprising.
Who are you expecting? Elon Musk?
In the next episode, we open with yet another alien planet. But instead of having regular sea creatures, ships have to deal with crazy crab-like aliens known as thanopods. Yikes. And on this particular ship, a thanopod wreaks havoc, killing the majority of the crew, including the captain. Instead of jumping back into the ocean, though, the thanopod hides out below deck, and the remaining crew doesn't know what the hell to do about it. So they draw straws to see who gets to deal with this. And ding ding ding, an asshole named Jorvan draws the shortest straw, meaning he gets to choose who goes down there. And he chooses the second in command, Torin. Yeah, Jorvan is sending him to the slaughter. As Torin comes face to face with the thanopod, though, the creature wants to talk, and he does so by using one of the dead crew members as a puppet.
Oh, me.
Yeesh, this is kinda dark. The thanopod then demands to be taken to a place called Faden Island, a very populated area, but in the meantime, it's gotta eat something, aka the rest of the crew. Torin agrees to take him to the island as long as he's the only one off the menu, if you know what I mean. Torin then returns, retrieves the captain's gun, and explains the situation to the rest of the crew. And after sacrificing Jorvan as the thanopod's next meal, Torin proposes another plan for the creature. He gives the crew a choice: take the short trip to Faden Island, risking hundreds of lives, or trick the thanopod and dump it in a deserted area, risking the crew's lives. After their anonymous vote, though, Torin reveals that he marked the ballots so he knows who selfishly chose the Faden Island option. Sneaky. He shoots the selfish crew members and immediately offers them to the thanopod. I guess it's Torin's rules or death. During the trip, though, the rest of the crew rebels against Torin. He then confesses that he knows that no one actually wants to save the people of Faden Island, so this leaves Torin no choice but to kill all of them, sacrificing them to the thanopod. And now that the thanopod laid a bunch of tiny offspring, yeah, it's hitting the fan. Luckily, Torin pulls a last-minute heroic move and burns the entire ship, escaping before the thanopod snatches him. Damn, these episodes are getting more intense by the minute. In the next episode, we open on Jupiter's moon, Io. There, astronauts Martha Kevelson and Juliet Burton end up wrecking their vehicle after a sulfur eruption. Unfortunately, though, only Martha survives it, getting a crushed arm in the process. And with her oxygen tank depleting, Martha has no choice but to hook up to Burton's remaining oxygen supply. And to top it all off, since since Martha needs a better signal to alert the orbital station, she's got to drag Burton's body behind her. Yeah, not the most comfortable journey, physically or mentally. And things get worse as Martha's arm pain becomes unbearable. To help, she desperately pumps herself up with a bunch of meds, leading to mad hallucinations. She even starts hearing Burton's voice. Yeah, don't do drugs, kids. But later, Martha realizes she's actually not hallucinating.
Wake up.
Apparently the moon, Io itself, is a machine that managed to connect to Burton's mind and memories, using her voice to talk to Martha. Insane! And seeing this as Martha is literally minutes away from dying, Io encourages her to become part of the machine, assuring Martha that her mind could be preserved like Burton's.
Neural configuration may be preserved. Join with me.
And seeing as she's got nothing to lose, Martha takes a leap of faith. Literally. We then hear Io using Martha's voice, calling the orbital station. Interesting. In the next episode, we open on a very tiny world, in a very tiny cemetery, and in the middle of the night, two dumb and probably drunk lovers start having relations. Literally everywhere. Jeez, get a room! And in the stupid stunt, they accidentally tear down a church, causing a satanic ritual and starting a very tiny zombie apocalypse. Jeez! The tiny people fight back using everything from explosions to tiny gunfights, but when the US government starts a massive war,
Zombies? Not in our country!
And a tiny chain of nuclear bombs all around the world, Earth is immediately destroyed. And as the camera zooms out, we see a faraway shot of this tiny-ass universe. There we see Earth's little significant explosion. Yep. Pathetic. In the next episode, we meet a U.S. Special Forces team, Sergeant Nielsen, and Privates Folan, Coots, Macy, and Irwin. Their mission is to cross a huge mountain range and join another platoon. Turns out, though, the second group has already been ripped to shreds by a psychotic robotic bear. Yeah, you heard that right. And as they face this abomination, the group realizes it's going to take more than guns to kill this thing, especially after seeing the violent deaths of Coots and Irwin. R.I.P. Out of nowhere, badass Sergeant Morris comes in with an anti-bear sound machine. Damn, this guy's prepared. Morris then reveals that the robotic bear, aka Project Bearguest, is actually a US weapon that got way out of control. So now they gotta kill it.
Why not? I doubt this could get anywhere.
At least they can count on Morris's group for help. Psych! After arriving at Morris's base, they see the bear already killed off his entire troop. The guys are officially on their own, so it's time to call in the big guns. And after gathering a buttload of weapons and a cute killer robot named Marsbot, they are ready to kill this bear. But during a surprise bear attack, Morris is immediately ripped apart, leaving Nielsen, Folan, and Macy to figure it out. And after a hell of a battle, the trio manages to finally kill Bearguest, once and for all. Unfortunately losing Folan in the process, but the killer bear gets revenge by using its eyeballs as frickin' bombs. Yeah, I don't think Nielsen and Macy survived that. In the next episode, we open on Dr. Ephriel, leading a group of scientists. Apparently thanks to a kind of friendly alien race, he's been able to investigate a mysterious alien nest known as the Swarm. Later, Dr. Ephriel manages to enter the Swarm and runs into his old research partner, Dr. Galena Murney, who's been doing tireless research on it. There, she explains that the Swarm is a group of symbiotic aliens who have created a self-sustaining environment for millions of years. Damn, way to go. Out of nowhere, though, Dr. Ephriel confesses his plans to steal an egg to control the Swarm of his own, claiming it would help humanity's expansion. Sure, buddy. Galena hesitates, but ends up following his orders anyway.
As long as no harm comes to the nest.
Typical. After time passes, though, the Swarm realizes Dr. Ephriel's intentions, and the Swarm goes as far as invading Galena's brain, fusing her body with the center of the Swarm. Jeez, just when I thought this show couldn't get more gory. And based on Galena's memories, the Swarm believes humans are dangerously parasitic. The episode ends with Dr. Ephriel desperately wanting to prove it wrong. Yep, a straight-up cliffhanger. In the next episode, a grouchy old Scottish farmer named Mason discovers that the rats in his barn are evolving. And when I say evolving, I mean building weapons and shit. And Mason sees no other choice than to call an exterminator, who ends up selling him a killer rat setup. Literally. But even after this, the rats keep fighting back, so Mason buys one more rat-killing machine, a robotic killer scorpion. Ooh, fancy. The exterminator assures Mason that the gadget will take care of the problem in no time, but I think having the scorpion leave rat corpses everywhere is a different kind of problem, just saying.
Welcome to the rat apocalypse.
After a while, Mason gets curious about what exactly is going on inside the barn, and when he checks it out, he finds frickin' carnage.
Christ.
Mason can't take all the killing anymore, so he shoots down the scorpion and calls a truce with the rats. No more rat traps. In the next episode, 6 soldiers, Sergeant Coulthard, Harper, Spencer, Beaumont, Dillman, and Gladstone, are on a mission to save a hostage from a suspicious-looking cave. And judging by the number of skeletons everywhere, yeah, something's not right. And pretty much right off the bat, they realize that the hostage is one of those dead bodies. So now the question is, who the hell did all this? Suddenly, they're attacked by tiny flesh-eating spiders, leading to the deaths of Beaumont, Gladstone, and Dillman. And damn, the deaths in the show just keep getting worse and worse. As the rest escape from the spiders, Coulthard, Harper, and Spencer are led into a big-ass sketchy-looking chamber. And pretty much immediately, they have to fight even more monsters. But despite the trio being badass, the long-legged monsters manage to kill poor Spencer, leaving Coulthard and Harper on their own. As they wander deeper into the chamber, Coulthard is lured inside a massive prison. Harper follows, and they meet a Cthulhu-type creature. Holy crap! This creature then starts giving Coulthard and Harper visions of mad world destruction, manipulating Coulthard to release it. But Harper doesn't fall under manipulation that easily. So her and Coulthard engage in a fight as Harper tries to stop Coulthard from helping the Cthulhu monster. And after crazy hand-to-hand combat, Harper successfully stops him, unfortunately killing him in the process. The monster then tries manipulating her yet again, and she's really fighting for her sanity as the monster's visions and screeches start driving her crazy. And later, we're finally back outside the cave, but then we see Harper with her eyes and ears gouged out. Jeez. I guess that was the only thing that could save her from that freaking monster. To finish up the volume, we open on a version of the medieval times, following a group of badass knights, and among them there is a lonely deaf knight who's seriously desperate for gold. As the knights stop by a lake, a mysterious siren, entirely covered in coins and jewels, rises from the water. And headphone warning. She uses her powerful screech to drive the men insane, to the point of killing each other. Damn, but this doesn't do shit to the Death Knight. Obviously, now she's the one going crazy. I guess no one's ever been immune to her powers before, so she angrily disappears. For now. Later that night, when the Deaf Knight is sleeping next to the river alone, the siren comes back, but instead of hurting him, she just examines him. She's pretty damn curious about his immunity, and in the morning, the knight awakens to the siren next to him, which obviously freaks him out. Surprisingly though, the siren seems even more scared, so she runs away yet again. But this time he chases her all the way upstream, and as they both are now hella curious about each other, they slowly come together and embrace. Kinda romantic. Yeah, not really though. He actually just knocks her out and rips up all the coins from her body. Told you, this guy was after gold. But as he practically tears away her skin, the siren freaking dies and he leaves her body to flow down the waterfall. Jeez, man. Apparently, though, her death triggers blood to wash all over the bodies of water within the forest. Yeah, this is some straight-up witchcraft or something. And speaking of witchcraft, as the Deaf Knight casually washes his face with the now bloody water, his hearing comes back. He immediately goes crazy, seriously overwhelmed by literally every sound. And as the siren is reborn and sees her now bloody and damaged skin, she desperately wants revenge. And I don't blame her. So, with the Deaf Knight no longer being a Deaf Knight, she uses her screech once again, driving him to drown at the bottom of the lake. Yeah, this death was definitely deserved. Now for the final volume. We open on a concert stage for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yep, we're literally watching their music video, where the entire band and the audience are portrayed as actual puppets. Kinda cool, but I gotta ask, why are we watching a music video here? In the next episode, we're back on Tiny Earth, but this time we focus on a friendly alien invasion. Nothing too crazy. Just kidding. The humans immediately attack the welcoming aliens, turning this into a violent human versus alien war. Holy shit. And the aliens do all kinds of things to fight back, doing everything from randomly experimenting on the humans to seriously trying to kill the entire human race. During the war, though, the humans manage to steal and use alien weapons. Score! But the dumbass humans accidentally end up creating a black hole with them, and it instantly swallows the entire frickin' solar system. Again, a pathetic end to humanity. In the next episode, we meet Spider Rose, a traumatized cyborg who constantly dwells on her husband's tragic death. Yeesh. And it seems like drugs are the only thing numbing the pain. But despite being depressed, she still has a job to do. And remember that alien creature from Volume 3, Episode 6? Yeah, he's back. So let's call him the Investor for now. And the Investor wants something he refers to as the Jewel, a chunk of ring ice combined with exotic matter. You know, sciencey stuff. He offers her an energy-based currency I can't begin to understand, but instead, she wants a weapon for payment. And why a weapon, you may ask? Well, she wants her revenge on the asshole Jade Prime and his gang known as the Shapers, aka the men who killed her husband. Yeah, she wants to blow up his entire planet, known as Conus. But the Investor is not about to give that up, so instead he offers her his race's most prized possession, a kinda cute, cocoon-making creature that she later calls Nosy.
Cute.
At least for a 96-day trial period. If she likes the creature, she can keep it and give up the jewel. If not, they will just take the creature back. Nothing too crazy. And side note, whatever type of alien that Nosy is can easily transform into the things that it eats, like Spider Rose's large meal supply of roaches, for example. Yum. And after taking care of it for a while, Spider Rose actually starts liking Nosy. Sometime later, out of nowhere though, scumbag Jade Prime shows up to kill her. Apparently, his original mission was to kill her and her husband. So he's there to finish the job, and apparently this bastard has an insane amount of clones. So she's never actually been able to kill him before, but this time, he's the real Jade Prime, and Spider Rose is ready to kick his ass. After shooting at each other,
Miss me, asshole!
And him crash landing at Spider Rose's station, Jade and Rose have a one-on-one fight, and with Nosy's help, Spider Rose finally gets her revenge and officially kills this asshole. Hell yeah. But after her station gets damaged, creating a freaking space vacuum, Rose has no choice but to trap herself in the small space with Nosy. And there's unfortunately no way out. Damn. And with no roaches left and the Investor not coming back anytime soon, Rose and Nosy are definitely not going to make it. So to thank him for giving her happiness and purpose again, she offers herself up as food for Nosy. Jeez, I didn't see that coming. Later, the Investor finally returns for Nosy, and I'm assuming the jewel, but when we see Nosy again, we see that he now has Spider Rose's markings. Well, okay then. I guess she'll always be a part of him. In the next episode, we meet a band of brothers led by their cool leader Slash. They try combining their telepathy and mind powers to load a gun, but there's no way that they can do it on their own. They seriously need to get stronger, because apparently there's a group of crazy strong giants known as the 400 Boys that are taking over the group's turf. So they gotta gather everyone who's willing to fight. From the lonely Hilo, from the Suits, to the all-female group the Galrogs, led by curvy badass Bala. But before the Galrogs can rejoin, they have to meet with their advisor, the Old Mother. The Old Mother then explains that the rumbling of many wars led to the gods, now known as the 400 Boys, to rise from beneath the earth, taking over the land.
Nothing ever ends.
But even if they are gods, it's time to fight back. The groups gather all their psychic powers to defeat these 400 boys. And it's one hell of a battle, leading to a lot of casualties. But in the end, the groups come out on top. I guess violence always leads to more violence. Huh. In the next episode, we meet a vengeful and fluffy orange cat named Sanchez. And there are two things you should know about him. Sanchez is not his preferred name, and he hates humans. Way more than you think. We then see his two dumb, careless owners, Todd and Margie. They arrive with a new purchase, a servant bot, aka an immediate threat to Sanchez.
Sample my fierce power, foul creature!
But when the bot serves him a delicious can of tuna, Sanchez and the servant bot join forces to take down the human race. Oh, damn. I mean, the only thing stopping Sanchez was his lack of opposable thumbs. And since the bot, now called Thumbbringer, has thumbs to spare, nothing can stop Sanchez now. After Thumbbringer manages to access the nearby electrical grids and get Todd's credit card, their plan for the world domination is underfoot. The next day, they purchase servant bots for all the neighbors' cats, accompanied by a sweet can of tuna. That should be enough for them to also join the revolution. The duo then escapes after rebelliously setting fire to Todd and Margie's apartment. And as Sanchez and Thumbbringer escape, they gather alongside the other thousands of cats and robots. Sanchez then exclaims his wrath, claiming the world will soon remember his real name. Yes, a very scary name indeed. In the next episode, we meet the kinda dumb priest, Father Maguire, urgently being driven to the beach. Apparently, his recent comments about the so-called resurrection of a mysterious person known as Blackfin, who we really literally know nothing about, has spurred the interest of an alien race known as the Lupo, and they desperately call for a meeting with both Maguire and Blackfin. And everyone, from the church to the military, warn Maguire to, and I quote, not up. Yep, apparently he's supposed to say as little as possible to not accidentally start a frickin' world war. So, the future of Earth is all in Father Maguire's hands. Yeah, we're doomed. At the beach, a Lupo representative shows up, asking Maguire about his faith in Blackfin's resurrection.
Do you consider yourself a religious man?
Rather strange question, considering my profession.
Maguire then implies that this so-called resurrection was taken way out of proportion, and suddenly, bam, the infamous Blackfin shows up, aka a frickin' dolphin. Turns out, Maguire spotted Blackfin waking up after being killed by an oil spill, and now the Lupo race believes Blackfin to be some type of god. Crazy, huh? The Lupo then start talking to Blackfin, who apparently suggests that humans are nothing more than the killers of the ocean. And since the mighty god Blackfin hates humans, the Lupo race suddenly declares war on humanity. Yep, even without saying anything, Maguire somehow up. In the next episode, we open in a universe where the richest people from Earth have literally nothing better to do than to watch deadly games, and to celebrate the wedding of Lord Chalon of Europa and Duchess Soraka of Castillo. A master of ceremonies, voiced by Mr. Beast, kick off essentially a watch party for a gladiator race. There, a group of highly trained men and women are forced to race and battle each other, and I gotta admit, the fact that they race using frickin' triceratops is absolutely insane. We mainly follow strong gladiator May, who is very wolf-like in spirit. She narrates how humans, much like wolves, are stronger together. We then see May partner up with a fellow gladiator and lover as they try finishing the race. Damn, even in this arena, love is in the air. May and her lover end up being the last ones standing, but eventually her lover succeeds the win to May, keeping them both alive. But for one last spectacle, the master of ceremonies brings out a damn T-Rex, who ends up killing May's lover. No! So now May's after revenge, and with the help of her racing triceratops, May gets pretty damn close to killing the T-Rex, but she realizes that the poor T-Rex, much like her, is actually forced to do all this killing. So May and the T-Rex join forces and rebel, killing Lord Chalon and Duchess Soraka in the process. This unfortunately leads to both the T-Rex and May falling to their deaths. But hey, at least the gladiators stuck together till the end. In the next episode, we meet a group of soldiers who are hella scared and are praying to God about their next mission. The only one that's not scared, though, is good old atheist Zeke, who couldn't give a crap about religion, led by a mysterious guy named Coombs. The soldiers are told to bomb a specific church in France. Reasons are unknown, but judging by Coombs' worried look, things are about to get serious. Before the bombing, you see that the church is actually being used by Nazis performing satanic rituals and Yeesh, even though Coombs times the bombing to try and stop the ritual, they still manage to summon a freaking demon, leading it to escape and savagely attack the plane. And it violently kills off the majority of the group. Brutal. Thankfully, though, Zeke manages to deliver a killer blow to the face, and after all this, I think it's safe to say that Zeke's a little more religious now. In the next episode, we hear from your most commonly used household appliances, and they've got a lot of stuff to say. Appliances ranging from an abused thermostat to even a frustrated little ionizer who's struggling to filter out his owner's nasty-ass farts.
If he ever lights a candle in here, we are all going to die.
What a nightmare. They all complain about having to put up with their owner's bullshit. Yep, sounds about right. Honestly, though, I think it's safe to say that the poor self-cleaning litter box has the shortest end of the stick. Seriously. In the final episode, we open in London, 1757, at St. Luke's Asylum, where we meet Joffrey, the pet cat of inmate Christopher. aka the not-so-good poet. And Christopher loves Joffrey, claiming he's the only reason that the devil hasn't gotten to him yet. Yeah, I can't imagine being alone in this dump. And lo and behold, that night, Joffrey gets a visit from Satan himself. And before Joffrey can tell him to go away, there will be treats. Satan proposes a deal. He proposes to give him the entire city, as long as he can stop protecting Christopher. But Joffrey responds with a violent no. So Satan fights back, hurting poor Joffrey. And all this commotion wakes up Christopher, forcing him to make a deal with the devil to save Joffrey. Yeah, he's Turns out, Satan only wants a poem from Christopher, and he's willing to stay as long as it takes for Christopher's poem to be absolutely perfect. So, to get rid of the devil, Joffrey seeks help from his trusted friends known as the Alley Cats, aka his buddies Polly, Tom, and the powerful kitten they call Night Hunter Moppet, who apparently has some kind of shadow powers? Insane. And with her unexpected wisdom, Moppet warns Joffrey that they cannot simply kill the devil. But according to ancient cat history, cats are descendants of a mighty deity known as the Angel Tiger. This allows them to at least hurt and punish Satan. The only way to hurt him, though, is by denying him something he desperately wants, meaning they've got to destroy Christopher's poem. That way, Christopher can finally be free. So later, as Christopher's about to give Satan the finished poem, the Alley Cats show up, and they're ready to fight. This sparks a crazy battle between them and Satan, and it gets so intense that even Satan has to transform into his demon body. Yikes! Now that Satan's distracted, Joffrey uses Moppet's shadow clones to walk through the asylum's walls. That's a pretty neat trick. He then manages to reach Christopher's poem and destroy it. Right then and there, it's official. Satan is defeated. This inspires Christopher to write his first good poem about Joffrey, who once fought the devil, and now has the power to creep through walls. Well, there you have it. All the episodes of Love, Death, and Robots. For now, of course. Feel free to like and subscribe, and click on another one of our videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.